The Tithe of Esra'Nell is based on a story by Louise Horsley and features characters created by her, James Bennett, Dominic Caltabiano, James Roberts, and Blake Thomas. Joining me, Timothy Mew, are the voices of James, Monica, Mark, Elizabeth, and Rebecca Bennett, Anne Bowie, Dominic Caltabiano, Kyle De Silva, Joshua and Zachary Harbord, Christopher Godwin, Louise Horsley, Courtney Landers, Lucy Morgan, Jessica Mullins, George Prince, James Roberts, Francisca Schmoll, Sophia C. Morgan, Macy Summerton, Blake Thomas, and Toby and Paul Williams. This novel was recorded by Gregory Ollie and Matthew Sorensen and edited by Matthew Sorensen.
Hi, this is James. My first role-playing game experience was highly enjoyable. Between sessions, I took to writing as a means of remaining immersed in the world so ably crafted by Louise Horsley, herself a first-time games master. Thus did this book, and now this audiobook, begin life. Several people have contributed greatly to bringing the story to this point. Foremost is Louise, who created the world of Lorem and brought its location and peoples to life. A very close second are my fellow players, Dominic Caltabiano, James Roberts, and Blake Thomas, who are responsible for the quirks and perks of Ed, Artyom Tillin, and Althazar de Barus, respectively. It has been a joy to tell these characters' stories, and I thank Dom, James, and Blake for their enthusiastic assistance and detailed feedback. Special mentions must also be made of Joshua Harbord, who has vigorously debated various plot points with me, and helped to ensure that Lorem's theology is self-consistent. Chris Slee, who is extremely helpful in navigating the turbulent waters of self-publishing, and Henry Goldner and Nicholas Wyatt, for strong yet sensitive editing and style advice. The beautiful cover art was crafted by Kyle De Silva. Thanks to everyone who encouraged me to try out an audiobook format, especially those who have lent me their voices, time, and energy. This has been a really enormous project, and it's been so encouraging to have so much support from these people. We had 20 people involved on voices, and a bunch more involved on helping me run what's happening on our days. Thank you to everyone that's had a hand. Thank you, David Ollie, for locating our first recording technician, Gregory Ollie, and to Greg for doing one session with us and then passing us to Matthew Sorensen, who's been great to work with. I'm also very grateful to Steve and Cassantinas and their staff at guitarexchange.com.au for providing a recording venue. Thanks to the folks at freesound.org for putting their work up available online free to use under the Creative Commons 0 license and the Creative Commons Attribution license. I'm not going to list everyone whose sounds we've used because there's more than 160. Big thanks to all of you, and the full listings can be found on our website at prefrontalpress.com. Assorted thanks must also go to Tian Becker, Elizabeth Bennett, Simon Bennett, Rebecca Bennett, Anne Bowie, Tanya Crossingham, Nick Evans, Courtney Landers, Conrad Lauf, Tim Mew, Mitch Mitchell, Sophia Morgan, Lucy Morgan, Mark Simmons, and Mitchell Webster for support and encouragement along the way. Finally, thanks to my parents for looking out for me in so many ways. Surprise, I wrote a book. And double surprise, we've recorded it.
Prologue. Bugen was roused by an ear-piercing scream. He came instantly alert, wide-eyed and frightened, clutching his blanket. Something thrashed in the bed next to him where Eleanor should have been, but darkness obscured its form. Though he was young, Bugen quickly figured out what was going on. Attacks like these were an all-too-common occurrence in Elandria. A clammy hand poured over his legs, and he kicked out at it, trying to disentangle himself from the twisted bedsheets. He rolled onto the floor and crawled away, as far as he could get in the tiny hovel he shared with his sister. Bugen was desperate to hold back his tears, though he knew not why. The scream sounded again. Cold air gusted through the window, which Eleanor had carefully bolted shut before tucking her little brother in. The moonlight streaming through behind it revealed two humanoid silhouettes looming over the bed, struggling with his sister. Each figure was roughly as big as Bugen, though they had glowing eyes and gossamer wings which glinted faintly. Eleanor threw off one of the creatures, then twisted in the other's grasp, scrabbling for the tiny knife she kept under her pillow. Bugen saw metal flash as her hand
Sample complete. Ready to continue?